A stunning upset in New York. Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee Chair Sean Patrick Maloney lost his seat to Republican Mike Lawler. This was in the New York's 17th district. And to talk more about this, I want to bring in Rabbi Yaakov Menken, Managing Director with the Coalition for Jewish Values. Rabbi, thanks so much for being here.
Good afternoon. Glad to be with you.
Sean Patrick Maloney was the chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. How did he lose his own seat to a state assemblyman?
Well, Mike Lawler, the state assemblyman in question, focused on the issues that voters really cared about. First of all, Maloney had been, by their own intent with the redistricting, they moved him over to a district where a lot of people didn't know him and weren't familiar with him. So he had to build a record the same way Lawler did. And Lawler did a better job by focusing on an issue that parents really care about, which is the education of their own children. When it came to that particular issue, Lawler was unforgiving in his criticism of state intervention and government control over private schools, specifically the yeshiva schools, where Rockland County's Orthodox community came out in droves to support him.
So do you think this affected statewide races? I mean, Lee Zeldin came within 5 points of Governor Kathy Hochul in a deep blue state.
Well, a lot of these issues do add up together. You look at crime, and it was clear that Zeldin is on the right side. He's willing to fight it. Hochul was absolutely silent on this issue of education, saying, well, she doesn't really have control of the Board of Education. They're going to do their thing, whereas Zeldin pledged to fight it. And so Zeldin, he did come within 5%. And that really affected down the ticket because you see in many parts of the state, Republicans were elected in what was previously one of the deepest blue states in the country.
Yeah, Rabbi, how do you think the issue of parental rights and education is affecting other races across the country?
Well, one way to look at that is look at the races that are most directly impacted by that issue, which is school superintendents and school boards across the country. We see that school boards that say that parents and not the teachers union and parents and not woke educators are supposed to be in charge of what their kids learn. It is really bizarre when you look at what's going on in schools across the country. The stuff that teachers are claiming that they're allowed to teach children and specifically tell the children not to disclose to their own parents. It shouldn't surprise anybody that school superintendents and board members, et cetera, the parents are going to come out to support those more conservative, more correct on the policy candidates. And of course, that goes up the ticket as well.
Well, overall surveys claim that 33% of U.S. Jews voted Republican, up from 24% in 2016 and 30% in 2020. What's behind this sharp increase, in your opinion?
I think that we are watching a very clear and very scary abandonment of Israel and other Jewish issues in the Democratic Party. The fact that we now have one more member of the squad, Summer Lee, unfortunately won her election, and against a Republican who had been completely reasonable. It was an open seat. The previous Democrat had stepped down. Summer Lee is one of the progressive Democrats who says that Israel is wrong to defend itself against terrorism. Well, that's obviously going to force Jews who are thinking about Jewish issues to vote for Republicans who will support their rights and their interests.
And you said that there are more Orthodox and that they vote Republican, but also that more Jews overall, right, are voting Republican. So which do they think is the key factor here?
I think that both drive together. The Orthodox population is growing at a stunning rate, and they're staying Jewish. So what's very unfortunate, what's going on in liberal circles is the opposite. They're not having kids, and the kids they have are not marrying within the faith. So it's kind of dissipating. So you're watching that the voting bloc naturally becomes more conservative at the same time that the Democratic Party is driving Jews out of the party.
Rabbi Yaakov Menken, thank you as always for your insight, and good to see you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course.
You asked for it, and now the wait is almost over. OAN Live is adding video on demand. OAN Live is already the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting national and international headlines. And now, the nation's top-rated primetime political talk shows, investigative reporting, and even more great content will finally be available on demand. Never miss your favorite talk shows again, like Real America with Dan Ball, or In Focus with Stephanie Hamill. Plus, in-depth investigative reporting from Pearson Sharp, Chanel Rion, Caitlin Sinclair, and the rest of One America News' all-star investigative reporting team. All available anytime, anywhere. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting and political talk shows One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.